Do not attempt to adjust your set. This is a Streaming Freedom Video Bulletin. It cannot be stopped, and it is the only free voice left on the net.
Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. For today's Skyrim mod video on PS4, I thought I would share some help and information with you on a workaround that you can do if you're trying to download a mod that you do have enough space for, but the game says that you do not. Something veteran players will be well aware of, but newer players might not understand, is when you go to download a mod, it actually requires double the amount of space that the mod is saying that is required. So example, if you have a mod that is 100 megabytes, it requires that you have 200 megabytes of free space to download and install it in the load order. However, once in the load order, it will only take up the 100 megabytes. Why Bethesda did this, I don't know. But what are some things that we can do to get around this? Well, one method, which I would not suggest, would be to simply go into your load order and delete a bunch of the other mods to free up space to download what you want. That could cause a bunch of additional problems, especially in an ongoing save, so I would not recommend doing that. Using a workaround method, which is a variation of the work in progress workaround that I shared before, where we will be downloading all creations from the library, we can keep all the mods in our load order, not lose anything, and then, given that we actually do have enough space to get the mod that we're trying to get, add it to the load order. Now, some important things to keep in mind when doing this workaround is, first of all, make certain that you actually do have the required space needed for the mod that you're trying to get. Obviously, if you don't have enough space, this workaround is not going to work. Also, unlike with the previous method for work in progress mods that I shared, where we had to remove the majority of all of the creations with the exception of work in progress from the library, we do not need to do that here. You can actually keep every mod in the load order subscribed to in your library, with one exception. Any mods that you have that you are purposely not updating that are currently in your load order, make certain that you unsubscribe from them in your library. The reason for that is, at least in my experience, when selecting download all creations from library, it will attempt to automatically update those mods if they have not been updated. As long as you unsubscribe to them, it cannot update them. You can stay bookmarked to them and of course keep them in your load order. If you do want to add them back to your subscriptions later on, you can, but keep in mind that a restore from Bethesda.net restores the mod that is the current version, meaning it will then be updated. Also, something that I should point out, while I do not know it, and only suspect it at this time, I'm starting to highly suspect that mods that are subscribed to, that are in your library, are linked to saving and restoring to and from Bethesda.net. However, again, that is 100% speculation on my part at this time, and Bethesda, it would be nice to know this stuff ahead of time. Finally, while again it is perfectly fine to keep all of the mods subscribed to that you currently have in the load order, and that is what I recommend that you do, with the exception of any that you don't want updated accidentally, you want to make certain that you unsubscribe from any mods that are not currently a part of your load order. The reason for that is, obviously, if you're having to do this workaround, you don't have very much space left, and you don't want the game attempting to download other mods with what you're actually trying to get. So, once you have done all of that, and I highly suggest that while in the creations page at Bethesda.net itself, that you have completely closed the Skyrim app, then launch the game and join me in the creations page. I have everything set up, and I'm going to show you, first of all, that a mod I have enough space for, the game will not allow me to download it, and then using the workaround, that I am able to get it. Okay guys, so let me search up a mod real quick that I know will not allow me to install it, even though I do have enough space, which is this mod right here. As you can see, if I attempt to download it, it says I don't have enough space, even though you can see on my bar that I do. So I have already set everything up that I discussed with you earlier, meaning that the mod is currently in my library, and I am going to download all creations from there. Select yes on this, and now you'll notice that it is indeed downloading from there. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that depending on the file size of the mod, it may take quite a while. And I've already run this test a couple of times to make certain that it would work, and each time I noticed when it got to 100% that it stayed pretty long on there before it gave me the notification that it actually installed it. So just wait it out, don't hit cancel, just wait till you get the notification that it is in your load order. Also, I should mention that any mods that are currently not active in the load order will be enabled doing this method, so you might need to go in and disable whatever you had disabled previously. So as you can see, now I have it. Go ahead and select continue on there. And then if I go into the load order, you'll see now I don't have very much space at all because the new mod is in there, which has been placed at the very bottom of the load order. You'll also notice that all of my mods are again enabled. So if I have any here that I want to disable that were previously, I'll have to do that again. But in any case, once we get to the bottom of my load order here, which is right here, you'll see I have the mod. I'm now free to go ahead and move this into place. So for right now, I'm just going to put it right here. Now the mod is in my load order and I'm able to use it like any other. So in fact, if I want, I can enable or disable it. Now the only thing that I can't do, well, of course I can delete it out of here if I choose that I don't want it. If I do that, then I have to use the same workaround in order to get it back. That is because, again, if I attempt to download it from the mod's main page itself, it's going to tell me that I don't have enough room. But doing this workaround, for whatever reason, it bypasses the requirement of the double space to download and install. So, now that the mod is downloaded and enabled in the load order, go ahead, back out of Creations, and reload your files. And then I highly recommend, after the files have reloaded, you completely close the Skyrim app and then launch the game and then continue playing. Also, something I think I forgot to mention in the steps a little earlier on is that when you're on Bethesda.net itself, at which time the game should be completely closed while you are setting all this up, if you do remove any mods out of your subscriptions as you're going through the pages, go through those pages multiple times, because I've noticed that it tends to add back other mods that you didn't realize were still there earlier on. So check your pages multiple times to make certain that the only thing in there is the mods in your load order. In any case, I hope that this video has helped you out. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. Take care.
This has been a Streaming Freedom Video Bulletin. Peace out.